Welcome back to the video edition of Tough Talk. I'm Mike Sawyer. This is Oliver Copp.
What's going on?
Oliver, how are you? You just got back from the weigh-ins?
Just got back to the weigh-in. It was crazy. People were just going wild for Vanderlanding from Carlos Condit. Can you imagine that?
They look good.
Fantastic.
Everybody looked in shape. From what I can see, Tito looked good.
Well, Tito always looks good visually, but the question is, what can you really do against Vader?
Yeah.
Even Matt Hughes in the Q&A session said, look, I like Tito. I'd shake his hand if he came up here, but I would not put my money on him.
That's not good.
Not a good endorsement for...
How many people?
I would say about 1,000 to 1,500. Not necessarily full, but it was pretty cool.
Okay. Well, we got a lot of good undercard fights.
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot. Rafael dos Anjos.
Now, that's going to be interesting against Sandrapos. Sandrapos kind of looked like, he always looked like Skeletor at the weigh-ins.
Yeah.
Then rehydrates. That's going to be an interesting fight, but the one I'm looking forward to, the first opener of the pay-per-view telecast, that's going to be Dennis Siver and Matt Wyman.
Let's not forget my boy Anthony Njokuani either, with One Kick Nick.
Oh,
I had to throw that in too.
One Kick looked fantastic.
One Kick did look fantastic. And also Melvin Gillard. Shane Roller, which should be a good fight.
Now, if Melvin Gillard is on, Shane Roller's probably going to get blown out of the water, but you never know. It's a fight.
That's right. Let's get back to your boy, someone you've cornered before.
Well,
translated.
Exactly, which I'm going to be doing again tomorrow. So
good.
I get a nice plum chair right between Joe Rogan and Joe Silva again, which is perfect.
Nice. So we got
UFC 132 tomorrow on pay-per-view.
Oh my God.
All right. Let's get
so Dennis Siver. Right. Actually, you got to be proud of Dennis. Dennis started his UFC career off, I think, like 1-3. He left for a fight. He came back. He's 6-1. He's looked tremendous. He improves with each fight. You got to be pretty proud of him.
You know, everybody's going to be proud of him. Dennis is an example of what you can do on the path to becoming an ultimate fighter. He used to be a kickboxer. He got his ass kicked. He went back to the drawing board. He became an MMA fighter. He started training wrestling, training grappling, training submission holds. He's now at a point where he's really on the cusp of the title picture.
Yeah.
Matt Wyman, same thing. Wyman's very talented. He's underrated. He's got heavy hands. He's a great wrestler. That's a fight to watch.
Well, you got two guys on 3-fight winning streaks. And Dennis Siver with a big win on George Sotiropoulos, and he also got a win on Spencer Fisher. So two of his big wins. Matt Wyman comes in. He's got a win on Cole Miller. He's got a win on Shane Nelson and Matt Danzig. So you got two guys. 5 of his last 6 fights, I believe, for Wyman have gone the distance. You got two grinders. Who do you like?
I'm going to have to pick Dennis here, just for the simple reason that he keeps improving with every fight. Matt, again, it's a fight. Anything can happen. Matt Wyman could knock him out. He could knock Matt Wyman out. Wyman's wrestling is going to be the big question mark because his wrestling is so strong. If Dennis manages to keep it on his feet, he should take the win. If not, it might go to Wyman. What do you think? I
got to agree. I think Dennis Siver's going to win this. He's improved with each fight, and so is Wyman.
Exactly.
So is Wyman. So they're both pretty even, but I'm going to go with Dennis Siver in the fight.
And again, the winner of the fight probably faces Clay Guida to get a title shot. So it's really a big fight for both guys, and both guys deserve it.
They really do. Speaking of guys on 3-fight winning streak, Carlos Condit and the stun gun.
Unbeaten stun gun.
Well, 14-0-1. Technically, I think he lost. Did he lose to Carl?
Well, the problem was that a loss and a draw, they're not necessarily the same thing.
Yeah.
If something gets overturned to no contest, it's always...
That's true.
It's semantics we're arguing here, so...
Yeah.
UFC are plugging him as being undefeated for the moment.
That's that credential again.
There you go.
Carlos Condit.
Exactly. And
now, the last time you saw Carlos Condit, it hurt us both. He fought our good friend Dan Hardy, and they both threw the left. One connected, one didn't.
Well, both connected.
Both connected.
Carlos actually knocked Dan out.
Yeah, he did.
Again, I called that. One of the few times I've been right.
I think you did.
I saw exactly that happening, and honestly, I feel Carlos is gonna win tomorrow.
Okay.
And he's gonna go on to challenge the winner of GSP and Nick Diaz.
He's got a little chip on his shoulder this time.
He does.
He's a little cocky.
See, the thing is, he's kind of come to his own as a fighter. He's also been up and down all the time, but he seems to have a certain consistency now.
Yeah, definitely.
But again, don't count out the Korean.
The Korean's tough. Listen,
he's a tough dude.
Anybody that can beat Amir Sadala and Nate Diaz, and he's undefeated, like you said. So there's going to be some fireworks. Both want a title shot. Both close.
Definitely, definitely.
Both are definitely close. Carlos Condit's right up there, so Stunga. So I think that's going to be a good fight. Two guys, a fight that I'm looking forward to, Tito Ortiz and Ryan Bader.
Now, Tito had nuclear heat at the weigh-ins. Nuclear heat. People just hated him.
They hate him.
And the thing is, yesterday at the press conference, he said again that he's injury-free and he's done this great training and he's in the best shape of his life. Who believes Tito anymore?
Tito.
Well, maybe Jenna. But the fact of the matter is, the guy's almost... He's lost every fight in 6 years. Granted, none of those have been blowouts.
Right.
He's hung in there with guys like Machida, Matt Hamill, Rashad Evans, a fight where you could argue that Tito actually won. Tito's not bad, but I kind of fail to see where he would be better than Ryan Bader.
Well, here's the thing, you mentioned that. Tito has hung in there with Rashad. He's hung in there with Hamill. He hung in there with Forrest. He's only been stopped by Chuck. He hasn't been stopped in 10 years.
That is true.
Frank Shamrock, I think, stopped him, tapped him in like 1999.
Right.
So Tito can hang in there with anybody, and he'll tell you about it too. And that's kind of his way of getting this fight. And convincing Lorenzo and Dana to give him another shot.
It is, however, most win fight for him. If he loses, by whatever means, he's done.
He knows it.
And where else could he go? He couldn't go to Strikeforce?
No.
WC is dead?
No. This is going to be the end for Tito. At plus 400. Now, yeah, get the wallet out.
There you go.
Wait a second. What have you got here? Oh, my Lord, you did do it. Good for
Look,
you.
at 400 line, you gotta put money on Tito.
You bet $600 on this fight?
Yep.
Look at you.
I'm gonna be out of a couple hundred there, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
But you know what? It's a game.
Listen, you better hope that Tito starts off like he always does.
Yep.
First 2 minutes, gets a takedown. If he can do it, win that first round, he'll get pummeled in the second. That's pretty for sure. He'll probably get beat up in the third, and then maybe do something late.
Right.
He's not gonna, I don't think he's going to knock Bader out. He's not going to submit Bader. Plus 400 is not a bad bet.
I think so. I mean, Tito, again, it comes back to Tito not getting blown out of the water in several years. It's a fight. Anything can happen. Do I believe Tito's going to win? No, I don't. I think Ryan Bader's going to march through him. However, that said, at that level, styles make fights, and the shape you're in the day of the fight, it decides the outcome.
Let's see where Bader's head is. Here's a guy who was 12-0 and got his ass kicked by John Jones. Probably the first time he's been beat up in a long time.
That is true.
So let's see how he comes back from that. Although he did look good at the weigh-ins, so did Tito. Plus 400, I think, is a good bet. You're going to be out probably a little bit of money, but it's good to go. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. Speaking of good deals, Vanderlei Silva and Chris Leben. How do you like this?
You know what? Chris Leben is the underdog, and I really don't get why. Because while Vanderlei has a great name and a great reputation, he's been out for 16 months. He hasn't really looked good in years. And again, Chris Leben's got knocked out twice in his UFC career, by Anderson Silva and Brian Stanley. I don't think Vanderlei has that knockout power anymore. And I think Vanderlei's chin isn't going to stand up to Chris Leben's punches.
I'm going to be a little nicer since Vanderlei comes into my store.
Vanderlei, we love you.
We love you, and probably spends the most money out of any MMA fighter as well.
Right.
Now, he's been out 15 months. He has been training at Las Vegas Athletic Club. He's got a personal trainer. He's got this like 23-year-old kid.
You can't train your chin, brother. You
can't train the chin, but he has been training pretty hard. He looks good. He looked very good the last time I seen him. That being said, Chris Leben, now here, I get a little nervous if they're going to get in there and exchange. I'm not going to lie with you. I'm a little nervous on that. However, at UFC 125, Brian Stan dented that chin. That has looked tremendous against Akiyama and everybody else, Terry Martin, everybody else he's been in there with. Once that chin starts to crack a little bit, it's all downhill from there. So
I guess we'll see tomorrow.
We're going to see tomorrow night because we got two sluggers that are going to get in there and are going to throw.
And again, fans 100% behind Vanderlei Silva, which probably shouldn't come as a surprise in Vegas.
No, Christ.
Now, the big main event, Bantamweight Championship, Uriah Faber, Dominic Cruz, the rematch. What do you think?
I'm going Dominic Cruz.
Smart money than Dominic Cruz.
I'm going Dominic Cruz all the way. This is a guy who's 17-1. His only loss was to Faber some years back, and he has done nothing but improve and look great. I think he fought 3 times in 2010 or around that. Joe Benavidez twice.
Yeah.
Scott Jorgensen he fought. His footwork is some of the best in MMA. It's a little unorthodox. He gets in, but one thing with him is he gets in, he gets out, and he doesn't take much punishment.
That's the point.
That's the whole thing right there.
And at the same time, as his ascent coincided, Uriah Faber's descent.
Yes, the face of the the face of the WEC, who has, you know, he dropped down, I think, at UFC 128 with Eddie Wineland. He looked okay in that fight, nothing spectacular.
It's Eddie Wineland. We're talking about Eddie Wineland.
Yeah, and we're also talking about a guy who's lost his last 3 title fights that he's been in Faber.
That is true.
So, I'm not going to put him down. He's great to watch, but like you said, we got one guy going up and one guy quietly going down.
And it's a shame because Uriah Faber is very marketable.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he deserves to be on top. He's a likable guy. He works hard. He's a model athlete, so to speak.
Yeah.
But you can't really deny the greatness of Dominic Cruz. He had the best 2010 of any fighter on the planet.
Maybe the most underrated champion.
And the thing is, nobody took notice of it. He was the most dominant champion of the year in 2010. 3 fights,
Yeah.
3 dominant wins.
Mm-hmm.
What more
Brian
can I
Moles,
say?
too.
What more can I say?
There's nothing. I'm going to go with Dominic Cruz.
Yeah. Well, the smart money's on Dominic Cruz. I mean, Uriah is the sentimental favorite. He could pull it off.
With everybody.
On that level, stuff can happen. But my heart just says it's not going to happen.
I don't think so either. But I think we're going to have a great time tomorrow night.
It's going to be a tremendous event.
UFC 132 at the MGM Grand. Watch the preliminaries. I believe they're on Facebook.
They start at 3:15 p.m. Pacific, 6:15 p.m. on the East Coast, and at 12:15 in the morning in Central European time. So,
well, it's definitely going to be a good show. Just by watching the weigh-ins, watching a lot of the hype from yesterday, I'm so looking forward to seeing Vanderlei back. The bantamweight fight, Tito. Let's see what happens with him, and Matt Wyman and your boy Dennis Seaver.
it's going to be a slobber knocker.
And the stun gun. And the stun gun. So thanks for joining us on the second one that we've done. Check out the WrestlingObserver.com and also ToughTalkMMA.com. Mike Sawyer, Oliver Copp. We're going to get food. Thanks.
Chael Sonnen is back, by the way. See ya.